I want to introduce our first keynote speaker profile, Mr. Erzi Hayat M.Eng, SC, PhD. Dr. Erzi Hayat, PhD, completed his bachelor degree from Trisakti University and his PhD from University of Stanford. He worked as a lecturer of construction management. Dr. Hayat joined Teesside University in September 2018. On his appointment, Dr. Hayat led the development of the construction management course in the university, which has now been running since 2019. Before joining the academia, Dr. Hayat spent his professional career time working for various United Nations agencies, such as UNHAS, WF, WPF, UNHABITAT, donor organization, and consultant company. The consultant company in the reconstruction of disaster effect areas. He started his career with United Nations Humanitarian Air Service, UNHAS, for the distribution and transportation of aid donation through the earthquake and tsunami-affected area in Aceh province. On the return from his master degree study, he worked for GHD, an Australian-based construction company in the multi-donor fund Infrastructure Reconstruction Enabling Project, or IREP, and Infrastructure Reconstruction Financing Facility Project, or ERFF. Prior to his academic post in Teesside University, Dr. Hayat was a postdoctoral research assistant in the Global Disaster Resilience Center, Hunsterfitch University, UK. Currently, Dr. Hayat is developing research ideas that look into the application of digital technology to help with disaster risk reduction initiative and extend social resilience to disaster and climate change. Okay, that's all about the personal profile of our keynote speaker today, Mr. Dr. Erzi Hayat. Before we are moving along to our event, please welcome Mr. Erzi Hayat. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hi. How are you? Good afternoon, Indonesia. Hello, can you hear me? Shall I start the presentation now?
Mutia.
Okay, hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
There is a trouble, sir.
Okay.
Okay, today, Mr. Dr. Erzi Hayat will present to us about Society 5.0 Industrial Revolution and what they mean to us. To Mr. Dr. Erzi Hayat, time and place is yours.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So I will now share my screen and let me know if you can see the slide. Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Well done. Good, very good.
Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone in Indonesia, and still good morning here in the UK and for everybody else around the world. Thank you very much for the organizing committee to have me here in this great initiative. And also thank you very much to let me share this space with the honorary Professor Harmen Nasution and also Professor Rabia Binti Abdul Qadir. And also thank you very much to let me be the opening keynote speech today so I can set the scene for the conference theme and with the other keynote speech topic as well. So what I would like to share and discuss in this particular moment is the Society 5.0, the industrial revolutions and what they really mean to us and how our life has changed throughout the history of humankind, if you like. And if there's any questions from the audience, please address it through the chat room or through the organizing committee, inshallah. Okay, so let me start. So the outline of what I will discuss today, starting with the development of society, the progress that we have from society 1.0 if you want to call it 1.0, and changes and develop to 2.0, 3, 4, and what we are going to do and what we're going to have in the next future with society 5.0. Okay, and the next I will see and I will discuss the role of industrial revolutions in this the society development process and their impacts to the societal changes, and later on we will have a look of what is society 5.0 and how our life will change in the near future. It has started already, and it's just growing and developing much further. So the society 5.0. So the concept of society 5.0 or 5.0 was first proposed in the fifth science and technology basic plan by the Japanese government in 2016 uh, as a future of what the Japanese people, the Japanese community, the Japanese society should aspire to. So this is defined by the Japanese government as society 5.0, where the start of society 1.0 is when the human life or humankind began on earth, when we have a hunting and gathering society, and then move forward society 2.0 when we have the agricultural, and society 3.0 marked by the industrial revolution and industrial development, society 4.0 information, and so forth. Okay, and if we look at this slide here, or these images here from Kidd and Ren in 2016, so the society 1.0 start with the birth of human beings as we know it, the birth of the existence of the very primitive form of human life in the universe, if you like, on Earth, where we are working or we are living in coexistence with nature. We live based on hunting and gathering principle, and then we move to the agrarian society where we start planting vegetables, when we start planting crop as source of food. And this began around 13,000 or the next phase of the society, which is the society 3.0, is the industrial society. And this start in the end or in the mid of 18th century and progressing, and we call it until the last few decades around 1990s, where the industrial revolution 4 or industry 4.0 began in around, we call it around 2000 2011, and it was coined as a term. And this is also marking the birth of information society or society 4.0, and we are expecting to move forward as what the Kidan and the Japanese government define it as society 5.0 with a super smart society. Okay, so let's look at a little bit deeper on what they are in terms of societal changes and society development. So society 1.0 is hunting and gathering, as we have agreed earlier. So the very first form of society is where we are human hunting and gathering food as means to survive. There's no view, there's no plan for a longer term development of society into a more established society. All we did was trying to survive and keep living and grow a family, and to make sure that they also can live and survive. So the very first society in this era, people were usually living as a nomadic society. They're not staying in one particular area for long because they should move around to various places that can offer sufficient animal, comfortable places where they can gather their herds of animals, as well as where they can hunt and make sure that they can survive the different seasons of the year. Okay, and The goal again was to survive living, and there's no concept of long-term storage of food in any means. So the society 1.0, the society at that time was a small family or group of families that form a clan that normally live and travel together in groups to also ensure a better security of the member of the group. They may have small scale or low level of rules between them, but generally this will only apply between them to make sure that they can live well in their clan or in their groups. And this was the norm or type of society all around the world, as identified by and agreed by historian and archaeologists to what and how people live in this very beginning of humankind development, if you like. And moving on to the society 0.0, this is where humans start to appreciate or start to understand the importance and the benefit of agriculture. And up until around 13,000 BC, humans were generally living to survive and rely on hunting and gathering. Sorry. And around 13,000 BC, humans start to move toward agricultural society. So here people is starting to stay longer in a particular place. And because the agriculture was found to be a good alternative and important supplement to hunting and gathering. And because of they are starting to stay in one place for a longer term, a longer period, then permanent buildings starting to emerge. In society 1.0, they normally live in tents where they can move around and they can pack and unpack this tent, or they build a temporary shelter. In the agricultural society, they start to build permanent building for houses, for storages, for public places, and so forth. Okay. This was the time where we recognized that civilizations started to emerge. Okay, and this was also the time as defined by the Japanese government, Kedan Ren, is the society 2.0, where significant changes on how humans live their lives starting to take place. So if you look at how the civilization starting to emerge, first, humans started to settle down in particular areas. They formed settlement and civilizations. So they will find places where the climate, the locations, and the available resources in that area are strategic and sufficient for them to keep living, for them to survive, and also for them to develop a society. And their focus was on agriculture, because when they focus on agriculture, then they need to find a space where they can develop the agrarian society. This could be near the river or the sea, or they might be living in the green forest and fertile lands that provide better opportunity to grow crops and also live comfortably. And because agriculture is starting to become a permanent source of food, there are no longer needs to move between places. There no longer needs to be a nomadic society, nomadic people who has previously had to move around to find suitable places. Now they are finding places where they can stay longer, and consequently, like I mentioned earlier, permanent structure starting to emerge. Okay, and the locations where they are growing as a society also normally becoming a strategic locations that make trade with other settlement possible. So there will be a number of settlements with different say crops or plantations that they grow. They now able to trade with other settlement, say other clan, other villages, if you like, because they're now recognized as strategic locations where merchants can transit and in between the trade routes. And because of this trading, then new professions were possible. You do not have to be all farmers. You do not have to be all, say, animal herders. You don't have to be all as fishermen, because now you can do something else. You can be carpenters, for example. You can be what do you call the blacksmith, for example, because the materials that you use can be traded with merchants. Okay. And if we look at this map here, this is a map of Silk Road, which is a trading route between the east and the west, if you like. Yeah, ancient trade route that linked the western world with the Middle East and Asia. And the red line here showing the land route, and the blue line showing where people were using or trading using the sea vessels. And this is the Silk Road that connecting major cities around the world, either on land by sea. And this took place for a very long time, nearly 2,000 years, which started 200 before Christ BC up to the 18th century. Yeah. Moving on from Society 2.0, Society 3.0 marked by the industrial revolutions, or we call it as the industrial society. So this third form of society, or Society 3.0, appears where and when industry are emerging, affecting the way humans live their lives. And this is also where development of society are overlapping or crossing paths with what we call as the industrial revolutions. Yeah. The industrial revolutions, as where we are at the moment, has reached its fourth stage, or industry 4.0. And this is marked by significant changes or improvement that radically change the way people live their life, interact, trade, etc. So let's start with the first industrial revolution. So the first industrial revolution took place between 1760, which is the middle of 18th century, up to mid of 19th century. Okay, and this is the mark of the birth of Society 3.0, where in the first industrial revolutions, it was instigated by the inventions of steam engine. Okay, and the wide use of steam engine replaced humans in so many ways, and it also helped development of industry, manufacturings, that is now possible to help produce a more efficient and a more effective ways to produce manufacturing product. And because of this and because of these industrial revolutions, a lot of people are starting to move to cities area, urban areas, where more job opportunities are available. And this is the start where people starting to leave the agrarian culture, if you like. Yeah, this is where people living at that time are flocking the cities, and they start to leave the farming job, and now they're working in factory workers, if you like. And consequently, the first industrial revolution plays a major part in the start of urbanizations. I hear buzzing here. And people were flocking to area where industry was developing, and because of these new infrastructures then required new housing for these new people that are flocking the cities. New hospitals are required, new roads, and all of this require better sustainable city planning. Okay. The second industrial revolution, what sound is that? The second industrial revolutions Start in the mid of 19th century, and this was punctuated or marked by the slowdown in important inventions before the second industrial revolutions that took place in 1870s. So the second industrial revolutions took place between 1870s to around 1915, when the First World War began, which greatly affecting the world economy. And the second industrial revolution was marked by the further development of steam engine into trains, for example, manufacturing machineries, railways, and communication network, and interchangeable part that also lead to mass productions of materials or productions like cars, for example. The I'm sorry. What did you hear? The buzzing?
Yeah. Something noise.
Could you probably mute the? Okay, the birth of new machineries, a steam engine in the form of trains and railways, makes provide a better transportation and communication networks, because at this very same time as well, radio and telecommunication was invented, and this made a long or far distributions of materials possible. Cities were expanding, where previously most of the urban areas are concentrated around or nearby a river or the sea, because that was particularly the main method of transporting and distributing goods around the world. So now, with the birth of railways, it was possible for human to live in cities further away from the river or the city canals, uh, to area closer to, say, the mines, for example, mining. Okay, and this moving out of the previously major cities, expand larger cities and adding number of it create new cities. Okay, it create new cities that is further away from of canals, from river, and mining industry were emerging and flourishing, because transportation of mine materials to far places were now possible. Okay, that is the second industrial revolutions, starting in 1870s and slowing down or nearly put on halt in 1950s, because in 1915s, because of the World War One, and the focus of the government, the focus of industry changed and shifted towards accommodating the impact of the World War. And between 1950s and 1915s to 1950s, there was not much change in terms of industrial activities. There was a big gap and slowdown in the industrial and economic activities between this period, as the world were experiencing World War One and World War Two. And the focus at the time was to recover from the significant impacts of the war to the life of the people, particularly in Europe. So money and financial power was primarily injected to rebuild the society, rebuilding houses, rebuilding infrastructure. So consequently, between this period of 1915s, 15 to 50, there was no significant changes or development in the industry. And it was not until the beginning of 1950 where the third industrial revolution is taking place, which was primarily marked by the inventions of semiconductors, mainframe computing, personal computing, and later on in the mid 1990s, the internet. And this was called as the digital revolutions. Okay, things that used to be analog moved to digital technology, television that used analog signals moving to digital signal, and so forth. Okay. And Again, the third industrial revolution greatly affected the needs of human labor in the industry. Robot was starting replacing more and more human in manufacturers because automations is starting to take place in the manufacturing industry. As a consequence of this use of robot, price of materials, price of product are greatly reduced. Export and imports of product are possible because of in a more competitive price. And the third industrial revolution also marked the emerging of mass and large industry, particularly the automotive industry. For example, in USA, Detroit became one of the wealthiest city in the world, where major automobile factory hub and parts for tooling and manufacturing put their plants in Detroit. The population of that time was 1.8 around 1.8 million, and in 2015 it's only a third of it, which is around 700,000 people. And this industrial growth, particularly in Detroit, was largely affected by the large flock of African American people, African American citizens moving from different areas to Detroit to seek new job opportunity in Detroit. And this was also affected by the World War I and World War II, because one of the US government policy at that time was to limit the quota or even ban new immigrants coming to the country. And accordingly, they can only use, and it was the purpose as well, to maximize the potential labor available within the country. And this was the opportunity for a minority at that time, the African American, to find job in Detroit. And later on, they have different social problem and so forth, and then forcing the automobile industry to decentralize and make their plant manufacturers in other cities. And this also marked how the city of Detroit going downhill. In Japan, Toyota was emerging in 1970s and dominating the global sales of car with its custom built approach. In the late of 1990s, with the inventions, if you like, of internet, and now moving forwards to the information society, this also marked the fourth industrial revolutions, because this is where the industry 4.0 crossing path with the society 4.0 as an information society. And this is largely affected by the development of digital technology. And the terms of industry 4.0 was coined or introduced in 2011. So what happened was, when computers were introduced in industry 3.0, it was disruptive. And thanks to the addition of entirely new technology, it is now possible that machines are communicating with another machines, yeah, without human interventions to a certain level. A mobile phone can call another mobile phone, yeah. And we have a digital media, social media, cloud computing that also mark a society 4.0. We can Google. We only need Google for most of the time to find information. For example, we now have access to journal articles in online platform, online versions. So this is where we are information society. We have all the information we need, almost too much information sometimes, that we will need help to filter that out, to filter information that actually help us, that is actually useful to us. Okay, so this is where we need to move forward to society 5.0. At least this is what the the Japanese governments are trying to pursue a society 5.0, which is a human-centered society that balances economic advancement with the resolution of social problem by a system that highly integrates cyberspace and physical space. That is the definitions of society 5.0. So the society 5.0 addresses a number of key pillars that needs to be highlighted: infrastructure, the finance tech, healthcare, logistic, and the presence of artificial intelligence with its following platform, if you like, or system related to big data. Okay, so artificial intelligence is tied to is an intelligence that is tied to a system ability to adapt and improvise in new environments. So if a computer, we can call it as an intelligence, a computer can only work based on what we ask the computer to do, based on what we have taught the computer to perform any sort of task. But with the artificial intelligence, we teach the system, the intelligence, to do something, and at the same time the system can learn from it, and they can learn new things based on the previous experience, just like similarly to what human can do. Okay? So let's look at this table here. So the society 5.0 are required based from the economic advancement at our time, where there are an increasing demand for energy. We are consuming more and more energy. We have a higher needs and use of transportations. We also have increasing demand for food because the Earth population is only growing. And with better healthcare, there are more and more aging society because there are longer lifespan. And there's also severe international competitions towards effectivity and effectiveness to create or manufacture product in cheaper price. In the developing world, this is frequently taking place in the developed world. This is frequently taking place in the form of outsourcing or importing materials from overseas, from say developing countries where labor is cheaper. So this creates wealth in both sides of the table, the developed and developing countries, because cheaper product in the importing countries and jobs in the manufacturing countries. So both countries, both regions are taking benefit of that. However, this does not seem sustainable, because to keep the price cheaper, say in the UK, in the USA, it is only possible because the labor on the other side of the world, say in China, in Indonesia, in Malaysia, wherever they source the product from, they need to keep the labor low. Because when the labor price going up, then these developed countries can no longer enjoy a cheap price, because now the price will go up. And this is why this model is not sustainable. Okay, because those in the manufacturing countries will never enjoy the same or equal wealth and quality of life as what is received by the other countries. And this is also why there is a growing inequality and concentrations of wealth between regions, including within regions such as urban and rural life. And on the other side, there's also a growing social problem that we need to address: reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. How do we deal with increased food productions and also reduce loss in the process? We need to also mitigate costs associated with aging society. As more and more people are reaching the aging populations, then the younger generation will need to take care of them in a certain ways. And there's also cost associated with that needs to be distributed and also borne by uh, 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 the younger generations, if you like, and also obviously the government in this way. We also need to promote a sustainable industrializations as an answer or solutions to the problem that I mentioned earlier. And we also need to make sure there is a redistribution of wealth and correction of regional inequality. And the combinations of these, as what the CAO Japan suggests, we need to incorporate new technologies in all industry and social activities to make sure that there is a balance addressing these two major problems. Yeah. And the balance that is discussed here, let's see the next slide. Balances of economic and advancement with the resolution of social problem first take place if we look at the society 4.0 where we are now. There's economies of scale, yeah, uniformity with the economies of scale, manufacturing, replacement of human with robots, with automation in the manufacturing, make products, the cost of producing any product is cheaper as we produce more and more. That is what economy of scales meant. And there's also uniformity because the economies of scale can only be achieved where we are producing a similar and same product over and over again. Yeah. And there's a concentrations of economy. There's also vulnerability and the high environmental impact because of mass consumption of resources. What the society 5.0 or the plan that the Japanese government have is to give people a liberation, a freedom from focus on efficiency. So what is suggested, we should not really think or focus on making product as cheap as possible. Instead, we need to start focusing on and put emphasis on satisfying individual needs, solving problem and creating values. So happiness, for example, if you like, happiness, satisfactions of use of product is much more important than just having a cheap product. Cheap here it means not poor quality, but low price product. We should move from that because that what make or cause this inequality in the world. Okay, so we need to find a problem solving and value creations way. With regard to uniformity, we need to be liberated from suppressions on individuality. Yeah, we go shopping, we need to we buy clothes from say the display, all say in same color, typical size, and so forth. And what society 5.0 is trying to appreciate the individuality of people, where we will be able to live, learn, and work free from suppressive influences on individuality. There's no longer discriminations of gender, for example, race, and alienations because of their values and ways of thinking. So this also needs to be inclusive and what we call as a more diverse and inclusive society. The concentrations talking about disparity, decentralizations, and so forth. I need to move this up a little bit quicker. So if we look at the next slide here, on the left-hand slide is the current information society, cyberspace, where we already interact with technologies, but most of the time and most of the aspect, we still need to take part and give our interventions. For example, even though robots are used in manufacturers, we still need to give them commands on what to do. We still need to regularly update it. We need to make sure that it's doing what it does. And with regard to information that we get from, say, internet, which is the cloud space here, we still need to analyze most of the information, which is for us now, it's a normal situation. Of course, we need to do that. Otherwise, well, how can we do different things? But with Society 5.0, the radical changes apply. For example, we no longer need to drive a car. The idea is to have driverless car, automatic driving, and we no longer need to seek for informations, but say a computer in the future will tell us the information that we need based on the AI, artificial intelligence, and what they know about us. Okay, and automatic producing by robots in factories means that imagine a whole factories where human probably only there to make sure and check that everything is going well. But other than that, all the productions, all the distributions, all the packaging are completely done by robot. And imagine where people will be working at that time. Okay. So the Society 5.0, the new value will be born. Okay. And with regard to aging society, for example, we need to give emphasis uh, and remove constraints and challenges related to social problem, which may be overcome through use of applications of digital technology, such as wearable devices that monitor health. Okay? And hard labor or hard and manual labor can be replaced totally by robots or with the help of technology and devices such as exoskeleton that can help us lift heavy materials, for example, or personal drones where we can move between places quickly. And this is already happening in the world. And where much of the analysis are made entirely by artificial intelligence, and we no longer need to spend much time on, say, filtering informations, finding the correct information that we need, because the AI will develop so much better, so much more advanced that we do not have so much decision making to do in our everyday life, if you like. And the Society 5.0, for example, health. We will have a monitoring of health condition through sensors and wearable device. Imagine where prescriptions of medicines based on individual needs. So prescription will be made based, say, our race, our health conditions, our maybe our height, okay, our blood pressures and whatever, and we will have a medicine prescribed uniquely to each individuals rather than within a range of criteria. Okay. With regard to energy, use of energy can be tailored and exploited based on local needs. The automatic productions, like I mentioned earlier, more and more human labor will be replaced by robots and automations. And it is very possible that an entire manufacturer, as an entire retailer or warehouse run by robot. Okay, and this is already happening in such as Amazon and Alibaba. The majority of works there have now been replaced by robot. And automating the agriculture industry.
Excuse me, sir.
Yep.
Maybe I want to remember you the time is about 5 minutes left.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the
Hello,
imagine
sir?
agriculture. Yes. Yes. Agriculture industry where all they say with less of human interventions, monitoring of soil conditions, watering, even harvesting, all done by robot, and we only need to receive the end product at home. Okay. And some initiative that have already been done is manufacturing industry, new sales model, connected car and automatic driving, health management, and so forth. And this is also linked to the Sustainable Development Goals. So as Kate and Ren highlight here, for instance, with this zero hunger related to the agricultural industry that we talked about earlier, with good health and well-being, where individuals can be closely monitored based on their unique conditions. We will have clean water and sanitations. We will have affordable and clean energy. We will have a decent work and economic growth, particularly, for example, in construction industry, where we will have a sensor arrays and AI-enabled robot that will help with the construction of construction project in general. Industry innovation and infrastructure, obviously, because of the AI technology and big data, use of big data, and there will be a flourishing new innovations in the near future. Sustainable cities and communities can be achieved faster. Responsible consumption and productions, as well as life below water and life on land, will be much better with new policies that can be applied, new technology that can be applied to monitor and ensure that this is achieved. All right, that is my presentation. Thank you very much, and I think it is within the allocations time of 1 hour. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Okay, before we are going to the question and answer section, I will summarize a little of what has been conveyed. Okay, we start from Society 1.0, where the hunting and gathering to keep living and survive as a nomadic. Now we're going to Society 2.0, where we start to know agricultural and start to stay longer in one place and start to learn about trading and start trading around the world. And we move on Society 3.0, where we come to Industrial Revolution, where we start to produce product, build mass transportation such as road or railway. And on the third Industrial Revolution, we start to slow the progress, where we still recover from the World War impact, and robot will start to introduce and start to take over our job in the factory, which can save money. And then we going to the Society 0.0, where we introduce the internet, where we can communicate each other without meeting in real life around the world, and can access all the information we need from around the world. And now at this time, we start to introduce by the Society 5.0, where like Mr. Dr. Erzidayat explained, we start to focus on efficiency to satisfying the people, where we can use the big data and introduce to the AI or artificial intelligence, and therefore we should prepare ourselves to face the technological advance. Okay, maybe that's all what I can summarize from the what Mr. Erzi have present to us. Now we are going along to the question and answer section, where my partner Miss Halimah will take over. Okay, to Miss Halimah, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Miss Mutia Lisa. Now we move along to question and answer section. Is there any question from the audience? Please raise the hand, or you can leave the question on chat room. Yeah. The first question from Ristia Amelia from the civil engineering. The question is, please, Ristia Amelia.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to Dr. Ezri Hayat and good afternoon to our audience. First of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Ristia Amelia. I'm studying at Sekolah Tinggi Teknologi Dumai, Indonesia, and I'm majoring in civil engineering. So, sir, Society 5.0 is an era where a technology is a part of human themselves. And I believe internet is not only for information, but is for the living life too. So here's my question. What is the challenges of making or creating Society 5.0 works in a developing country like Indonesia? I think that's all for my questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Great question. So I think the challenges with, say, developing countries in the world like Indonesia is how do we adapt and adopt this technology and be in par and in competitions, at least at the pace with other countries. We need to be aware the changes in the technology, what innovations are available already, and there needs to be support from the top level, starting with the government, that helps encourage innovations in this area. For example, the Society 5.0 was initiated by the Japanese government, and the Japanese government commitment, which will help these innovations move further. And this is the key point, because without such support, then the changes will take in an ad hoc manner, in an unorganized manner, and it may not get the full support. For example, like policy, law, incentives, and so forth. And this is where a developing nation like Indonesia needs to be aware of, and attention needs to be given to this, because otherwise, then we may get deeper and deeper into, say, competitions, and also what we call poverty. And this is a very good opportunity where we can get out of poverty, because the focus, as I mentioned earlier, is not about having the cheapest price or cheapest product in the lowest price possible, but this is about gaining happiness. It's about gaining quality of life. Okay, so I think that's the answer. The support needs to come first, very first, from the government, and then there will be incentive that will create and encourage innovations. And one of the most important is the copyright protection. Yeah, copyright protection is key to innovations. I hope that answer. Okay, any other questions? Is there a hand from Ibnu Dakikil?
Okay, can I speak now?
Yes, I think.
Okay.
Yes, your question, Ibnu Dakikil.
Okay, I have a question, maybe similar to the first questions. As we know, as I see in the presentation, that Society 5.0 is based on the automation process, and then Society 5.0 is based on big data or artificial intelligence. In your opinion, is it possible for a developing country like Indonesia is jump from? I think we don't achieve the Society 5.0, but is it possible for us to jump to Society 5.0, because it based on the big data, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, something like that. Thank you.
Yeah. It is possible, in my opinion, because even Japan itself is not there at the moment. Nobody is in the ideal situations where 5.0 is adopted. Like I said, we do not have a fully automated farming, for example. This is a visions. This is a visions in the next future, in the next near future. We are not there yet. So anybody can be there, as long as there's a strong commitment from anybody or the stakeholders involved, in particularly the government. And I do understand what you're saying by jumping is that we are not really mature enough in the Society 4.0 with informations, and how can we jump to Society 5.0? And this development is not really about progressing, but this is about adapting. Okay, we may not be fully understand how the internet works, for example, and we do not have to really understand the technology behind it to understand the concept of society 5.0 with regard to, say, liberation from suppression of individuality, for example. Yes, big data technology is there, AI technology is there. It is best that we, as a country, I'm speaking on behalf, say, from Indonesian perspective here, that this can be produced from within the country itself, but it is also possible, like what happened so far, that we adopt this technology from other countries that already develop it. With regard to big data is there. That's why it's called big data. Everybody use the Facebook, everybody use Twitter. That is big data that can be used to analyze certain aspect for certain informations. Yeah. And with regard to health, for example, yes, big data in that particular area, we need to improve it because we do not have at the moment. I don't think we have a centralized database for health conditions of all Indonesian citizens. That is something that can probably help progress the adoptions or transformation to society 5.0 faster, but it is possible. I hope that answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, and there's a questions online on the chat room about form and impact of society 5.0 for the world of education. Nobody really knows what will happen, but one of the ideas with suppressions of individuality, like I said, mentioned earlier, it is possible for educations to change, that we no longer be assigned to certain year group. For example, we do not have to be in kelas 1, kelas 2, kelas 3, kelas 4, but everything can be tailored based on individuals' capacity, individuals' ability to learn new informations. There's no limitations that a 5 years old needs to be in kindergarten. Yeah, there's no requirement that a 17 years old needs to be passing their high school before they can go to university and so forth. Yeah, so each and every person is assessed based on their individualities, individual capacity, and the informations that taught to them is entirely based on their individual capacity. I think that answer. This is some of the possibility. Any more questions?
Any more questions?
We still have
Yes.
time before the second.
Yes, I am.
The last, okay, the last question come from Setiawan Jody. Please, your question.
Hello, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for giving me a chance in this question session. Let me introduce. I am Setiawan Jody. I'm currently registered dozen, active student in the Dumai Technology College in the third year Civil Engineering Department. Okay, I want to ask about how do we support the development of society 5.0 in a remote area in Indonesia, for example, Papua. Sir?
Yes, so that's one of the key issues that we need to find solution to societal problem in different ways, including rural areas. So if I understand the questions correctly, how do we use or we take benefit from society 5.0, or how society 5.0 will help those in the rural areas? Okay, so one of the example, again, this is a new vision, and this is most of this idea is still in plan and vision. Some of them are showing indication that they will take place. But imagine that we have drones that regularly distribute uh, uh, living stock, for example, foods, crops, to those living in the remote areas where they did not have that access before. It was impossible for us to access that area due to, say, poor road conditions and so forth. Yeah, with the use of drone, we can regularly send medications. We can regularly send books, for example. We can regularly send even food, yeah, to any of these remote area in a very effective ways because of use of drones, for example. And that is one example where we can, not where we can, where society 5.0 are trying to solve with regard to social problem. I hope that gives you an idea of how this can help the rural people. Thank you. Okay, Halimatus Sadia, how is it? Do we still have
Okay,
time?
that's all for our section today. Thank you so much for Mr. Dr. Erzi Hayat and the participant. I give it back to Mr. Azdi.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Halimat Syadia, Mutia Alisha, and of course our wonderful speaker, Dr. SD Hayat. Maybe Dr. Erzi, maybe I just want to go to more detail about higher education. Higher education, for example, university. What compulsory lesson that we should teach to our student to face society 5.0? More.
One of the element that we teach here in T-side is, in particular in construction management, is the introduction of digital technology in construction. That is one idea. Digital technology in construction, where we teach what kind of technology are being used in constructions. Yeah, how say exoskeletons are helping laborers, workers in construction project, and how robots are helping construction project. Okay, and how, for example, now drones, and it's not always about what has been applied, but also what is being researched at the moment. How drones are automatically building, say, steel building is being researched now. That a flock of drones are flying, carrying a steel beam. They carry it, and robots are tightening all the bolts and things, and no human involvement there. So yes, raise awareness on digital technology, and if possible, teach the student, say, programming.
Well, nice. Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is the end for the first session, and we're gonna go to second session. But before that, I want to say hello first to our second speakers, Professor Harmain Nasution. Are you already?
Thank you.
Are you already?
Okay, I'm already.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. How are you, Prof, in Medan?
Okay, fine.
Thank you very much.
Walafiat, sehat walafiat.
Alhamdulillah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go to next session. Will deliver by Prof. Harmain Nasution from University of North Sumatra. We'll talk about function of macroergonomics in adopting technology. I would like to welcome Prof. Harmain, and for this session, will be guided by Mr. Julanos. Time is yours, Mr. Julanos.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So firstly, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Johannes. I am a moderator in the second plenary session. And so the second plenary session, the title is the function of microorganic in adopting technology engineering society. And it will be delivered by Professor Dr. Harmen Nasution, MSIE or IPU, and Mr. Professor Dr. Insinyur Herman Nasution was born in Pematang Siantar, North Sumatra, Indonesia, and the background is easily the Professor Herman Nasution background is in 1979 had become lecturer Industrial Engineering Department of University of North Sumatra and the Secretary of Industrial Engineering Department in University of North Sumatra and the head of Industrial Engineering Department in Islamic University of Sumatra Utara and the Secretary of Head of USU and Research Department and reviewer of Kemenristek Dikti, and now is duty as Dewan Pertimbangan Fakultas Teknik USU, and also the coordinator of industrial field, and also the member of Indonesia Economic and Indonesia Management Association. And I think so much more. Maybe I can say you all of the background and the work of Professor Herman Nasution. And so at this moment, I would like to please to Professor Herman Nasution to take your time to deliver the talk or the speech today. Thank you.
Oke, kita nanti siapa dulu ya? Nanti dulu ngomong dulu lah ya. Bisa. Ya. Jadi itu dulu. Oke. Udah. Hah? Enggak.
Okay, Prof. We can see the screen.
We can see, yes. Okay, thank you. I respect to head of Sekolah Tinggi Teknologi Dumai, Drahajah Sil Yana MP, and head of LL Dikti, Professor Harry SA MBA, and keynote speaker from University Kebangsaan Malaysia, Prof. Madya Rabiah binti Abdul Qadir, and Dr. Ezri Hayat from Tesait University. Good afternoon for the participant. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My topic is the function of macroeconomics in adapting technology in engineering society, in design, production, controlling, optimization system. And our focus is the change of the organization because of revolution of the industry. Contents my topic are 1. Society 4.0, and 2. Modernization technology, and 3. Technology adoption, 4. Macroeconomics, and 5. Why macroeconomics can be enabled, and 6. Conclusion. The first, Society 5.0. Society 4.0 will create a super smart community using technologies such as artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, provision of big data, robots, which help humans do design, production, controlling, and evaluation of the system. The purpose of using such technology is to create an optimal production system and organizational system. Japan on January 21st launched the concept of Society 4.0 by making humans the main subject or human-centered society in controlling the advancement of science and technology. Humans are not objects that will be left behind as a result of Industrial Revolution 4.0. This paradigm brings people to create technology for a better life. Human beings are initially the center of technology and center industrial societies, pioneering relationship between humans and technology, or ergonomics and humanities. The experts say Community 5.0 will consist of infrastructure, technology, finance, healthcare, logistics, big data, and artificial intelligence. In Society 5.0 now, the basis of it, not just logistics and money, but infrastructure, technology, healthcare, big data, and artificial intelligence will be the main of life society. Therefore, every modernization must be accompanied by organizational change in management or learning organization. Modernization of technology that is human for a good life. Therefore, every modernization of technology must be accompanied by organizational change in management. So, modernization of technology. Modernization of technology from the industrial era starting from 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 5.0, and engineering society 5.0 will lead to change in design, production, controlling, evaluation, environment, working methods, working time, human expertise, culture, performance, behavior, which ultimately require organizational innovation and management that is managed efficiently and effectively. The management change of each organization activities in each industry era are described in the following table. So, table of change in each industry era and technology is for 1.0 mechanical, steam engine, and small productivity, and 2.0 mass productivity, assembly line, and 3.0 automation, and 5.0 is digitalization, artificial intelligence, 4.0 digitalization, artificial intelligence, big data, connected, yeah. And 5.0 humanism, harmony of man-machine system and society. So, how about human management in organization? In 1.0 is personalia, value is money, and 2.0 human resources, and 3.0 competence creates a value added, and 4.0 human is asset as capital, and 5.0 human is engagement, human develop delegation, employee ability, innovation, and contribution. So, what's career in organization? In 1.0 is seniority, 2.0 performance, 3.0 performance in potential. So 5.0 empowerment, collaboration, and talent management is fine for 5.0 is adaptability, multi-skilled, and having a vision. And for coordination in organization, 1.0 direct contact, hierarchy, written document, and 2.0 tools, procedures, plan and schedule working. And 3.0 is unit organization, task force. 4.0 information system, vertical and horizontal, and digitalization. So for 4.0 is personal integration permanent on society. 5, performance management. 1.0 is personal, output and money. And 2.0, competency, productivity, empowerment, work standardization, standard operating procedure, and value. And 3.0, value added, device drive strategy, employee engagement, total quality management, balance scorecards, Six Sigma, work progress, performance, key performance indicator. And 4.0, value of creativity, acceleration strategy, asset growth and capital, learning and development, KPI and KDI, Key Development Index. And 5.0, workplace and society, integration. Every individual has hope and future to exist in his world. Success in creating change, innovations, customer advocate, and trust. And marketing system is 1.0 product driver marketing, 2.0 customer centric markets, and 3.0 human centric marketing, and 4.0 interaction between online and offline, 5.0 online, offline, and society. So about structure of organization, in 1.0 is line, 2.0 line, staff and functional, 3.0 is matrix, 4.0 network and dynamic, 5.0 is connectivity, informal and formal. Now, so about technology adoption. The purpose of technology adoption is to create harmonization between people, technology, economy, and society, or analogy with the maximization of ergonomics, economic, and social. According to Sharif and Tati, there are 4 components related to the adoption of technology. E, technoware are machines, equipment, tools, physical process, capital, and intermediary goods. B, human or human labor, human capacity, capacity for systematic application of knowledge and problem solving, skill, know-how, ideas, and C, information are scientific and other forms of organized knowledge, technical information, data, computer software, recommendation, standards. And D, organization. Organization or organization of products, process, tools, and service. Social arrangement mean for using and controlling factors of production. From the description of the scope above, the role of organization and management is vital in adopting technology or change management. Without proper organizational management, the adoption of technology will not provide a decent life for the community. One of the techniques that can be used is with a macroeconomics approach. What's macroeconomics? Macroeconomics is a discipline which approach in industrial system that connects humans, technology, material, psychology, culture, organization, society, and environment. In the ergonomics approach of human relation, technology, organization, the environment, according to Hendrik and Kleiner, the human-machine interface technology or hardware ergonomics. B. Human job interface technology or work design ergonomics. C. Human software interface technology or cognitive ergonomics. And D. Human environment interface technology or environmental ergonomics. And E. Human organization interface technology or macro ergonomics. Why macroeconomics can be enabled? Because macroeconomics is an approach used to develop a social engineering framework by studying micro and macro issues related to organizational change on a large scale, which gives birth to holistic concept with a multidisciplinary approach. Macroeconomics discipline is a particular Macroeconomics discipline is particular application in making change management related to ergonomics working design, creating ergonomics of design between main machine, equipment, layout, software, noise, light, air, hertz, safety, physical and mental movement. Effective work design can be created through the fitting between humans with machine and work equipment. B. Balance allocation of tasks between humans and machine. C. Creation of work system integration. 2. Ergonomic participation design. The more complex the technology used will increasingly require the participation of everyone in the organizational unit. The use of technology psychological will require a more specific and sensitive way of working in items of quantity, quality, cost, and time. Participatory ergonomics concept is a concept where the organization grows, process, and developed by involving all workers and organizational units in the planned activities, do, check, and action. Indicator that can be used is the creation of activation of all organizational units automatically of place, of system, organization that procedure job satisfaction. Hans and Wilson identified the dimension of participatory ergonomics in the following table. Extent of level, organization, to work system, workplace, and product. Purpose, work organization, design and implementation. Continuity, continuous and discrete. Informal, direct, full or partial and representative. So formality, formal and informal. Requirement, voluntary, compulsory. Decision making, focus design, consensus, and consultation. Coupling, direct and remote. Participatory ergonomics equal function or commitment engagement, involvement, enrichment, job satisfaction, quality of life. So, macroeconomics culture design. Culture is a system of values, beliefs, and habits that belong to people affected by ethnicity, country, education, formal and non-formal, or professions, workplace. The establishment of cultural design is indispensable within the organization. It will shape the imagination, the inside of, and what he sees, on how he sees it. Culture in an organization will shape or drive the habit of people at work. Culture can drive habit 70 until 90%. Culture can shape people habits against risk, discipline, attitude, dynamics, technology, time, religion, motivation, performance in work. The organization consists of different backgrounds, education, and societies, requiring a culture design with a macroeconomics approach. So, design of organization. Organizational design is a vertical, horizontal network of the division of overall tasks in the organization in achieving organizational goals, short, medium, and long term. The important factor in designing an organization, the departmentalization, life cycle, strategy, environment or society, technology, span of control, balance, decentralization of centralization, coordination, work culture, formal and non-formal. Modernization of technology will cause change in the organization because technology is for efficiency, time, cost, increase in quality and quantity. This case change in the job description, working methods, and performance. Change must follow the rapid technological change in organizational design. Organizational design must be fit with the human dynamic that exists inside as well as the technology use, functional, region, product, process, equipment, customer, matrix, and network. Research conduct on 100 manufacturing companies with variable or span of control, administrative ratio, skill level, communication, management type, performance, commercial, and conduct and concludes that a commercially successful company is company that design its organizational structure following its production technology. Design sense. Macroeconomics can be used a master of change due to multidisciplinary, cross-disciplinary use in discussing the system. The change is also called the holistic approach. This is necessary because of the increasing complex organizational environment, change management. Performance design. Performance design is no longer partial by assessing the output produced by human resource. But performance design has to take a system approach by talking measurement from various aspects of human resource, organization, finance, consumer, technology, and the social environment. Performance should be used as feedback on development, core business, behavior, organization, expertise, efficiency, consumer, environmental society, technology, and business balance. Approaches that have been taken so far, such as total quality management, balance scorecard, bulk rates, international standard palm oil, PRISM. The whole model uses a measure of social responsibility. The resulting performance must be able to drive an accelerating business strategy as well as social capital. This can be done with the macroeconomic approach. And administration system design. Technological development requires increasing ergonomic change of administrative system, making it easier for organization units in need to access them. Digitalization of administration, data input, provision of big data, all requires harmonization of people, technology, and organization, man and machine system. So, new normal, the new normal. The new normal is a result of COVID-19 occurred in change to job description, standard operating procedure, industrialization of design, and work from home, leadership, administration, performance. All of the above requires a redesign of organizational and management. And conclusion. Macroeconomics is an approach used to develop a social engineering framework by studying micro and macro problems related to technological change, design, production, and control. The macroeconomics will approach in every technological change will be created. A. Optimal system design. B. Fit between humans with hardware and software technology. Fit between human, technology, organizational environment, and society. The modernization of technology is a product of science developed by scientists, which can change social life. This change is the responsibility of science. Okay, thank you very much for the participation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We would like to say thank you to Prof. Armin to share us the knowledge and the talk. So we discussed about the society 5.0 is, and also the era industry history of 1.0 until 5.0. Also the technology adoption, the macroeconomic and design. And now we go to the question session. So to the audience, we give the time, and you feel free to ask question to Professor Armin. Okay, Pak Nur Hadi Saputra can ask question.
Terjemahkan ya. Panjang, 15 menit lagi gitu ya. Ya, dengar.
Halo, Pak Nur Hadi. Halo, Pak Nur Hadi Saputra. Okay, to the audience, it's time to question. So you can ask the question to Prof. Armin.
ngerti atau memang tak ngerti.
Maybe they understand, sir.
Ya, nanti.
Maybe, yeah, maybe they still think what question that they want to ask.
Nggak tahu apa yang mau ditanya.
Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon, audience. Any question? Okay, maybe there is no question, sir, from the audience. And now I will give back to the host to pass me. Okay, pass me. I give back now to you, pass me. Thank you, pass me. And I would like to thank Armen. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's very knowledgeable, and we get many knowledge and many talk from you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you very much to Mr. Jolanas. And also, I want to say thank you very much also to Professor Harman. Hopefully, what you have taught and delivered to us make us something new idea and something new. And ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go to the last session. Yeah, the last but not the least session. We are going to continue to the last session for our seminar and will be delivered by Prof. Madya Rabiah binti Abdul Qadir. Before that, I'm gonna say hello first. Prof. Madya Rabiah, are you already enrolling?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, thank you very much. How are you?
Thanks. Alhamdulillah, thank you.
How was Malaysia?
I was Malaysia. Now we are still work from home.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
So you are still in home or university now?
I work from home almost 2 years already, 1.5 years already.
So you never go to university for teaching?
Once in a while, not all the time.
I want to ask you, how effective studying work from home in Malaysia? It's still good.
I do have a meeting actually with the student to see their progress monthly, and I do have a class online. So I maybe the student will feel not that easy, but for us there will be a challenge to prepare all the material before the class.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, ladies and gentlemen, for this session, I want to invite my friends. Mrs. Gelisha Urfa, MCOM. Are you here? Are you hear my voice?
Yes, Agni, I'm here.
Okay. Miss Gelisha Urfa, to guide this session. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Our seminar is about to begin. Thank you very much for preparing yourself to join our conference. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for finding time and visiting today's webinar. I'm Geli Saurpa, the moderator now. I'm very pleased to see you here and welcome all of you to this conference. Our topic is today about informatic and COVID-19 crisis, information technology solution, challenge, suggestion, and tips. Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker today is Professor Madya Dr. Rabiah binti Abdul Qadir. She is a senior research fellow at the Institute of Visual Informatics, University Kebangsaan Malaysia. She received her PhD 2007 in Computer Science from University Kebangsaan Malaysia. In August 2008, she was appointed as a senior lecturer until May 2014 at University Putra Malaysia. During this period, she was seconded as assistant professor at Najran University, Saudi Arabia for a year. Yes, right? Then started for September 2012 until 31 August 2013. In June 2014, she joined University Kebangsaan Malaysia as a research fellow until present. Her area of research are intelligent computing and computational linguistics. Currently, she is active on big data analysis, semantic knowledge repository, and extraction, data smart city solution, and social media analytics. She has published more than 100 papers for academic journal, book a chapter, and proceeding on her area. Before the presentation begin, let me inform how the presentation will be going on. First, our keynote speaker will be invited to the present of the material. After that, there will be question and answer session and followed by conclusion. If you have any question during the presentation, just write them to chat. Okay, now allow me to welcome the keynote speaker, Professor Madya Dr. Rabiah binti Abdul Qadir, to deliver his presentation. Okay, Prof. Madya, this is time and place is yours.
Yeah, so thank you to the chairperson for the warm welcome. Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon to the keynote speakers. Previously was Prof. Dr. Hamid Nasution and Dr. Ezri Hayat. I think the head of STP Dumai is school Sekolah Tinggi Teknologi Dumai, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, Dr. Siliana. And last but not least, to all participants of the conference. So I think the slide will be shown by the organizer. Okay, all right, thank you. So first of all, I would like to thank to the conference organizer and the STP Dumai for inviting me to deliver a keynote at the International Conference on Science, Technology and Engineering Research 2021. So currently I'm served as a Senior Research Fellow at Institute of IR 4.0, which is introduced by the chairperson just now. Is the Institute of Visual Informatics. Okay, the Institute Visual Informatics is renamed to Institute of IR 4.0 March 2020. Okay, so currently I'm under Institute of IR 4.0, formerly IVI. Okay, so I have been to STP Dumai actually before in year 2019. Okay, and I do have a few students from Dumai which are furthering their study in PhD under my supervision at UKM. And today, I just would like to share my speech entitled Informatics and COVID-19 Crisis, Information Technology Solution, Challenges, Suggestions, and its role. So next. So this is the outline of my speech today, okay, which is I will cover the growth of information technology, how the COVID-19 speed up the adoption of digital economy, COVID-19 and digital ecosystem, the challenges, the solutions, the suggestions, and the role of the information technology during COVID-19. Next. So for the first idea of this speech, we are looking for the growth of the information technology. Okay, so this graph is actually shows the trend of information technology service output for four economist countries, which is Europe, China, India, and United States between year 2005 until 2015. I'm so sorry for the quite old data here, but that is just want to show how the trend is increasing. Okay, the deep investment has been done in ICT assets such as computer hardware, the software, the infrastructures, and the internet itself. Next. So same happened to the cost of the labor productivity per hour. Okay, the trend here show increase gradually for all economic countries. So this emerging development have benefited from ICT investment and double the labor productivity between 2005 and 2007. Next. So with COVID-19 crisis, in just a few months' time, so it has brought about years of changes in the way companies in all sectors and regions do their business. This is according to the new McKinsey Global Survey of Executives. Okay, their company have accelerated the digitization of their customer and supply chain interaction and of their internal operation by 3 to 4 years. And the share of the digital or digitally enabled product in their portfolio has accelerated by a shocking 7 years time. So nearly all the respondents say that their company have stood up at least temporary solutions to meet many of the new demands. Funding for digital initiatives has increased more than anything else. So to stay the competitive in these new businesses, an economic environment requires need strategy and practices. Most respondents recognize technology strategy important as a critical component of the business, not just a source of efficiency. And respondent has executed successfully responses to the crisis report a range of technology capabilities, most notably filling gap the technology talent during the crisis, the use of more advanced technologies and speed in experimenting and innovating. So next. So the digital adoption has taken a quantum leap, if you can see from the graph here, at both the organizational and the industry level. During the pandemic, consumers moved dramatically towards online channels. Okay, the survey results confirm the rapid shift toward interacting with customers through digital channels. They also show the rate of the adoption of years ahead of where previous survey were conducted. Respondents are 3 times likelier now than before the crisis to say that at least 80% of their customer interactions are in digital nature. Next. The majority of the business, the pandemic has revealed a scary reality. It is true, okay, which is the company are far vulnerable than their belief. The entire global economy is feeling the effect of the pandemic and digital disruption. But there is a bright spot on the horizon. COVID-19 and digital ecosystem are on course to enhance the future of commerce, making it more secure and reliable. So after the crisis of COVID-19, digital ecosystem will be the norm, not the exception. Digital is a strategic priority that's crucial to future success. By 2022, we can say that more than 50% of global GDP will come from digitally. And in the future, business success will depend on the two dimensions, which is how to manage customer experience and the ability to create digital ecosystem. Next. Okay, to manage a great customer experience is very crucial. Okay, if digital ecosystem extend core model into the new digital. Therefore, the digital ecosystem provide customer values in various ways. The first one, by dynamically combining services with products, creating a new and data-driven digital product and services. Introducing the subscription-based business model. And the third one, the onboarding other vendors to the ecosystem. Next. So these strategies lead the simplified consumer journeys, increase the customer loyalty, and more relevant as leading partners. By creating customer-centric touch points, the company can track the journey of the customer, understand the purchasing triggers, and recommend the right product to the customer. Next. Okay, so we are still in the COVID-19 and digital ecosystem. There are 3 ways to overcome the challenges for COVID-19 and the digital ecosystem. So, business units must be treated differently and how it can leverage synergies. The first one, in homogeneous sales partner structure. This is where the global sales and distribution structure spanning across the globe can create vast and systemic complexity. For instance, the fact that a local presence is self-owned in one country but based on a partnership in another already created challenges. The channel conflict, multi-level structures, and regional assortment limitations quickly pile up more. Second, a multiple distribution model. The previous case can be even more complicated if the company relies on several distribution models in parallel. This can be included indirectly, selling through distributor or service partners, selling through sub-partners, or selling directly to the customer. You can create a holistic approach to various models which lower operational costs within a digital ecosystem. But at the same time, providing insight into the entire sales of distribution chain. And the last one, trying to combine the business model. A digital ecosystem allows to combine different business models to optimize revenue and margin. Okay, so next. So here are the changes of the digital ecosystem during COVID-19. It's actually caused by the requirements of the technology, for the information technology in community and the economic sector. The pandemic has generated a rapid demand for effort to use innovative technologies to cope with the damage from the COVID-19 on our life. It has changed our social life, changed the economy sector, such as the hospital system, the orientation of our business, and in fact, the education of school. And I believe most of the country in this world implemented the same approach, such as work from home, doing the online shopping, or an online education. There is a lot of things that we did it in online or virtual. And those activities require the changes, enhancement, and innovation in new digital ecosystems. Next. A quick transition in response to the coronavirus threat is needed. And as a reminder for us that digital technology will bring many benefits and can play an essential role in managing and reducing the risk caused by the lockdown during the pandemic and even after the pandemic. Many information system and IT professionals are working in various ways to help fight the pandemic, such as developing products to combat the virus, tracking and predicting its spread, and protecting hospitals from cyber attacks. IS, or Information Systems and Technology Scholars, is able to contribute to this global effort to fight COVID-19 and future pandemics by leveraging their previous experience and knowledge. And these IS and technology researchers also and the practitioners can help conduct an analysis of the COVID-19 pandemic data and engage in potential emerging research topics such as facilitating work while social distancing, while contactless commerce, the face recognition when wearing masks or in either crisis, COVID-19 apps in terms of privacy and many more. As we know, after almost 2 years, we are facing with COVID-19 pandemic. Information system and technologies are becoming a foundation to the society. Information system and technology scholars are in an excellent position to leverage their experience and knowledge with information systems and various technologies to improve the existing system and technology practice and help the society become digitally resilient to future large-scale disruption. Next. The COVID-19 pandemic has exposed the use of technology to combat the pandemic raised challenges in many sectors. The specific nature of COVID-19 pandemic requires strong coordination of connected data, people and systems to facilitate collaboration in fighting against COVID-19. Traditionally, the stakeholders have not used the same system, data format, or standard, hampering the ability to identify trends and develop intervention against the pandemic. Next. For example, public health researchers, epidemiologists, and government officials need to be connected via integrated systems with connected data to understand the evolving pandemic better and make collective decisions on addressing this crisis. As people play a crucial role in this fight against the COVID-19, it is essential to connect, coordinate, and support various stakeholders through innovative and integrated technology. Next. So the following are the challenges that IT experts need to be focused. First, connecting systems to integrate in technology, as mentioned previously. Connecting data to share best practices. Connecting people with enhanced collaborative tools and IT infrastructure. Studying human behavior with technology and digital device. So I will go through every single challenges here and see what are the opportunities that IT and IS should do. Next. So the first challenge, connecting system to integrate in technology. Okay, so now I would like to share the integration technology that can be considering during COVID-19 pandemic. Emerging technologies including the IoT, big data analytics, AI, and a blockchain to be integrated to develop smart strategy for addressing immediate challenges caused by the COVID-19. So, for example, the Facebook able to use artificial intelligence and big data technology to tap into satellite imagery, and census data to generate maps that able to display population density, demographic, and travel pattern in order to help decide where to send supply and how to reduce the spread. Next. Big data analysis of geographic information system, GIS, and IoT sensor data collected from infected patients can assist epidemiologists to trace patient zeros and help identify close contact of the infected patient. For example, explore the capabilities and potential of integrating social media containing big data, geospatial data, and AI technology to enable transform spatial epidemiology research and risk communication. AI and big data technology can be leveraged to analyze and visualize both on-chain or off-chain data and provide near real-time analytics and recommendation to relevant stakeholders through customized dashboard. Next. However, currently, most of the systems and apps that have been used to deal with the pandemic are still poorly interconnected. Why? This is because they are developed by different government agencies, health authorities, and organizations. And the other lackness is lack of systematic framework and tools to accomplish systematic integration across various technologies in the global response against the pandemic challenges. So the information system and technology researchers would take this opportunity to offer their expertise in system integration and experience with emergency or crisis response system to provide recommendations and strategy to help developers in various system and technology integration efforts. Next. The second challenge is connecting data to share best practices. New collaboration and knowledge sharing are needed to deliver target solutions through a coordinated effort to support countries facing stages of this epidemic in different ways and at a different time. So faced with a global pandemic, countries need to work together to share data, information, resources, effective practices, and strategy to combat the coronavirus. Next. However, there are still a problem for a global collaboration among relevant stakeholders between organization and government, which is crucial to coordinating the sharing and use of data and knowledge to solve the problem we encountered during the pandemic. Related, next slide please. Okay, so the related with connecting data, we will dealing with data integration and knowledge management. Technologies such as web portal, knowledge repository, and online communities of practice that can be used to empower data connection to leverage resources more effectively or efficiently at a lower cost. So the knowledge-based systems such as expert system and intelligent decision technology have been used to support the stakeholders and decision maker in epidemic crisis. So that the data mining and visualization technology also have been used to discover and visualize knowledge evolution across time and location as the coronavirus outbreak continues to evolve. However, whatever that I mentioned previously, those systems often operate in silo, and the data, information, and knowledge stored in their system are not widely shared. So to allow various systems and stakeholders in different community of practice to share knowledge within and across their individual areas, we need to create an environment to encourage people across countries to share knowledge instead of keeping or holding the knowledge. In the context of coronavirus outbreak, strategy could be developed to assess the quality of the knowledge and help systems break down silos that hinder communication and sharing data more efficiently. Next, the third challenge is connecting people with enhanced collaborative tools and IT infrastructure. We knew that COVID-19 outbreak is rapidly changing the workplace. People are moving their workspace to their home through teleworking. So many industry benefit as knowledge workers learn to operate virtually, work from home, and learn how to use cloud services to process and to store files. So we are actually witnessing wider acceptance of of online services by people and diverse type of industry during the pandemic. So the importance of IT infrastructure is enabling teleworking, online learning, e-government, e-commerce, and other online activity has been widely recognized. So the pandemic is forcing a record number of employees to work remotely for an extended duration, which result in heavy traffic on remote connectivity network. There are vital needs for society to continue investing in IT infrastructure and accelerate digital transformation effort to deal with the impact of COVID-19. So the companies also need to enhance their investment in tools such as video conferencing and group decision-making support systems to enable personal and distributed teams to work remotely and collaborate virtually, as what we have now. Okay, all the seminars, the conference is running virtually. Next. On the other hand, costs of the IT infrastructure are exploding, of course, okay, because everything are looking for the IT infrastructure. So the demand of this IT infrastructure is increased. It is necessary to understand the rise in hard costs of the IT infrastructure according to the demand. As the pandemic continues to evolve, IT infrastructure needs to be enhanced for workers to perform their duties safely and healthily. It is particularly necessary to identify the factors that drive the cost of serving the increased demand due to teleworking, such as cloud server costs, video conferencing costs, and other additional issues. The cloud services should be further leveraged through existing infrastructure, such as Google, Amazon, Azure, AWS, and Salesforce. So the strategies also need to be developed to keep essential functions and services up and running. And the last challenge is studying human behavior with technology and digital devices. Next. Okay, the last challenge It is important to study human behavior when designing, building, and using technology as more COVID-19 related technologies are being developed, integrated, and used by government, organizations, and people. So there are a lot of effort to combat the pandemic, incorporate new technology advances and approaches in integrating various systems and innovation. However, we need to acknowledge the people's misbehavior with technology may reduce the effectiveness of the technology related intervention or in countermeasures on containing the coronavirus spread. From year by year, there are lots of number of data, theories and models that need to be used, explore the acceptance and use for COVID-19 related technologies. Next. Sometimes the digital divide broadly refer to the uneven access to digital content and connection because of some people who do not own or have easy access to the technology. People's ability to use technology effectively remains inequitable. As people spend more time working, learning, socializing, and shopping online at home, this pandemic provides a change to assess the issues and challenges faced by the rapid digital transformation of organizations and how the digital divide impacts people. Therefore, information system and technology scholars need to help develop strategies and approaches to addressing digital inequality in disparity, especially when the government needs to flatten the curve of the infection. So all of these challenges are open for research opportunity, especially for information system and information technology researchers. So for the next slide, let me see the suggestion and the solution after we've gone through the challenges that we are facing during COVID-19. Next. Okay, so this is the suggestion of the previous. All right, thank you. So the previous, the suggestion and role. Okay, there are among of the suggestions in facing the challenges during COVID-19 pandemic and its role. Information system and technology researchers should take the opportunity, as I mentioned earlier, to offer their expertise in system integration, the first challenge, and experience with emergency or crisis response system to provide recommendations and strategies to help developers with various system and technology integration efforts. The information system and technology scholars can also help identify best practices to implement responsible data collection and data processing and achieve a balance between privacy and utility of the proposed technology, which is the challenge too. And again, the information system and technology scholars also can contribute by providing expertise to help government, authority, and local community to design and develop a volunteer network to engage and organize a large number of volunteers and help build a collaborative information system to deliver a national program in this area, which is the challenge 3, the IT infrastructure. Point out swift deployment and grassroots innovation could develop rapid solutions to meet urgent needs. Understanding the underserved population unique perspective virus outbreak can provide guidelines for future IT systems and application design, develop, and potentially improve the adoption and the use of novel IT systems. Next. So let's see the existing solutions. Okay, there are a lot of existing solutions that have been taken to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, by focusing on the following three components: extraction, integration, and delivery data specifically on health. Okay, because COVID-19 is regarding with health. So all the information, all the applications, the solutions specifically focus on health. And interoperability of systems and guidelines and interface to guide people's behavior. So the next slide will share the example of the solution. Go to the next slide, please. First example is a proactive decision making. This is the sample of the application. Okay, proactive decision making. Develop innovative that will provide real-time information at the local, state, and national level. For example, public health system. Next, the extensive search engine using academic databases and web search engine with a variety of questions related to technology, coronavirus, COVID-19, synthesizing the related discussion in newspaper, news website, blog, white paper, practitioner website, lay literature or academic literature to help understand the existing information system and technology solutions and the role that they could play in this challenging time of the pandemic. Another application, next, is a mobile COVID contact tracing app. Next slide, please. Okay, so tracking people and help. Okay, this app is used to tracking people and help identify community spread of the coronavirus, monitor the condition of the infected patient, improve the treatment of COVID infected patients. So this is the things that can be done, okay, by having the mobile COVID contact tracking app. Next. I think the chatbot. Okay, we are still in the previous slide, I think. Oh yeah. For the last one, okay, for the last app is a chatbot. Okay, so this is a quite recent development to fight the pandemic. Okay, but it helps to reduce the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on people, organization, and society by providing proper and relevant information to people through auto chatting. Okay, so next, so to having those having those solution or application, so there are the technology solutions that can be used, okay, to support all those app solutions during COVID-19. Next. The machine learning and deep learning. Okay, so this is not new. I think since there is IR 4.0, people are always talking, even during the big data analytics, people always mention about the machine learning and deep learning, and yet it's still reliable, especially during the COVID-19. So the example app that using the technologies, these technologies as a solution is analyze epidemic situation to diagnose and prognosis analysis, automatically detection of COVID-19 cases, early triage detection of critically ill COVID-19 patients, and the last example, I mean, just this is not all the solution that we have here, okay, but just a sample, okay, early detection and diagnosis. Next, with the technology of big data analytics, the application can tracking the movement of people, understanding the epidemic trend, and control, regulate pharmaceutical supplies, new drug and vaccine development. Next, the HPC infrastructure, which is to target exploration and drug selection apps. Next, robots. These apps are developed basically to deliver food and medicine, disinfect rooms, or treat the patient. Next, the 3D printing technology basically used for production apps such as to produce protective masks and make test swabs. Next, digital contact tracing technology. Basically, the app are developed to track movement of individuals, also giving alert people from visiting COVID-19 hotspots. This is just an example. Next is the Internet of Things. Okay, the app are also developed to ensure patient compliance with quarantine requirements, monitor patient remotely. Next, and the blockchain, the idea of this app is develop digital identity for healthy people and do process of claim or making payout. Next, so with those example apps of solutions using different technologies, our institute in UKM also actively develop and doing research related to solutions in facing COVID-19 pandemic. So all the research related with the big data or AI is under the Intelligent Data Analytic Laboratory. Okay, so the current and the future research that we are focusing on in this lab are waste management, waste mass management, influencing learners' dynamic toward pandemic in higher learning institutions, psychological analysis during COVID-19 pandemic, a computer-aided recommendation engine for the health diagnostic, prediction of COVID-19 outbreak using continuous back of words on social networking sites, the development of AI-powered chatbot for healthcare information system support services. Okay, so those are the ongoing research or project headed by the research fellows from Intelligent Data Analytic Laboratory, Institute of IR 4.0 UKM. So that will be my last slide. Okay, so with that, I ended my speech. So thank you for your attention. And now I'm welcome for any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Nadia, for giving us such informative and interesting presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, now come to the question and answer session. First, I like to have 3 questions from the participant, please. Any question? Oh, any question? Farah Safira. Okay, Farah, your question, please. Hello, Farah, you hear me? Sorry, Farah.
Let's see. Mute.
Okay, Farah Safira.
I think she has a problem with the mic.
Yes, I think that. Farah, I don't hear.
Maybe she can write something on the chat.
Okay, Farah, can you write on the chat your question?
Udah ada nanya?
Please.
Nofrizal Gunawan.
Hello. Okay. Come, Farah, yes. First, Farah Safira.
Yes, Miss.
Okay. What is your question?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello, Miss. I have a question for you, but for the first, let me introduce myself. My name is Farah Safira. I am from Dumai City, Riau Province. I study at High School Dumai of Technology in major civil engineering. Thank you for your attention. My question, in the world of education, artificial intelligence or ID technology is very useful. For us as students, it is very support for independent learning. My question is how to maintain social relations that are starting to disappear without ignoring technological development. Thank you.
Can I repeat the question? How to the social something? Because
How
I'm not that.
to maintain social relations that are starting to disappear without ignoring technological development. Thank you, Miss.
It's very open questions. Okay, in terms of maintain the relationship without ignoring the technology. Am I right?
Yes, all right.
Yes.
Okay, so it's really tough question. Okay, how to maintain the relationship? Okay, because yeah, we know that to having a close relationship, basically we are easy to having face to face. Okay, face to face communication, but currently with the technology and with this pandemic, for example, we might have this kind of gap, okay, and maybe difficult to maintain the good relationship. But after almost 2 years, okay, 1.5 years, we having this kind of pandemic, and totally we don't have that kind of traditional relationship as before. Okay, but I think with the new technology or the application that we have, okay, so we still keep in touch. Okay, we still keep in touch to maintain the social relation. Okay, so I don't see it, maybe in terms of what in terms of the personal relations a bit not that good, okay. But in terms of silaturahim, okay, contacting to each other, okay, you can have it at any time, okay, with the technology. Okay, so that is how we still can maintain the social relationship with the technology that we have now. Or maybe sometimes the relationship that we are far away, but we still can have it, that relationship better. Okay. So am I answer your question, Farah?
I see. Thank you for your answer, Miss. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Okay, thank you, Farah. The second one, who is Winardi? Hello, Winardi. You have any question? Okay. Halo, Winardi.
Winardi,
Winardi.
you still online? Well, Mrs. Galisa, I will take over the question. Okay, Prof. Rabia.
Yeah.
Because of COVID-19 right now, many activities change to be online, right?
Yeah.
For example,
You're right.
studying is using Zoom meeting and similar apps. Or like shopping, move to online marketplace. It's mean that IT has a big chance in the future. My question is about what compulsory subject or lesson that must be teach to undergrad student, for example, in STC Dumai, in order to compete in global era. For example, we're going to how our student can develop mobile content tracking apps, for example. You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, we get it for that. Okay, so the exposure to the students, okay, with this pandemic, okay, so they might have a big opportunity if they are exposed with the current technology. Specifically, it's the information system and technology. Why I'm saying that? Because actually the IS and the IT currently is actively solve the problem that people facing. Okay, meaning that the exposure to undergraduate to this technology, okay, it's supposed to be given to the undergraduate students. Okay, because in the future, I think even after the pandemic, okay, because we changed the traditional way, okay, with the traditional way of social life, okay. During these 2 years, maybe people are the people are actively using application. Okay, and behind of the application is basically the people of the information system and technology who are responsible to develop. Okay, so maybe in 2022, 2023, even though they are not on IT background, the student not from the IT background, but they are very interrelated with the IT application. Okay, so if we can provide all the students with the IT information or IS information, that there is a lot of solutions. There is a lot of problems that can be solved in the future. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that.
That's answer. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Azmi. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of this seminar. I like to thank our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Rabiah Binti Abdul Qadir, for the informative and interesting presentation, and all the participants for the very active participants. And then I written it with my friend Azmi. Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you, Ms. Gelisha Ufa, for your helping. Well, ladies and gentlemen, actually this is the end of our seminar today. We have three wonderful seminar. I would like to thanks to our three amazing speakers. Actually, we start from Dr. Ezri and continue by for Prof. Harmen, and the last from Dr. Rabia. And before I close this seminar, I want to ask the committee if there is some like announcement to all participants. Ms. Wetri Febrina, there is announcement.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Azmi. Hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us till the end of our first day session. Thank you for all our keynote speaker, Dr. Ezri Hayat, Professor Harmen Nasution, and also the Professor Dr. Rabiah Binti Abdul Qadir. So everyone, we still have one day tomorrow. Second day is parallel session. So it's free for all of you to join us tomorrow. And anyone who needs a participant certificate can fill the link of the form that I already shared on the chat room. So please check on the chat room. And for the participant certificate is already you can download in drive google.com. I already shared also in chat room. So I said thank you very much for our keynote speaker. Thank you for your attention and for the knowledge and experience that you give to us, to all of us who here in our conference, Icoster conference. And for all of participants, thank you very much, and I hope we can again tomorrow on our second day. So I give it to Mr. Azmi again.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Wetri. And I just want to say thank you very much, all of you, for outstanding attention for today. And I'm Azmi as host today for this seminar. Would like to say sorry for the mistakes. And we close this seminar by saying Alhamdulillah together. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And see you